Hello, today you guys are going to be learning how to work with oil pastels. Now, oil pastels are a crayon, but they're not a color crayon like you're used to with coloring when you were a little kid. So these little crayons have an oil base to them, and the same type of pigment that is in oil paint is in here. So these last a long time when they're actually on the artwork, just like oil paint would. The good thing about these is they don't crack in 10 or 20 or 50 years. The bad thing is that they never really dry all the way, but after a couple of years or so, they will harden up, but you can always put them in a frame or have some sort of spray coating on top of it. So these are oil pastels. They're fabulous because they're supposed to give the look of paint, but you're not, you don't have the mess, right? You don't have the cleanup. So I'm just gonna put a couple here. I'm gonna get lighter here. I'm gonna go over it with another color, go over my light area, get lighter. And I'm using colors that are next to each other on the color wheel more. So because I think those colors look nice to each other. So for just playing around. So this is just the basics, right? So I'm gonna walk you through. You can use your finger to smear these together. You can take a tool and smear these together. But they're so much fun. And at the end, they're supposed to give off the illusion of paint when in reality, you just used a crayon. So let's get started with what you're going to do. So you guys are going to, first off, you're gonna get this worksheet. And this side is done so that you have an example. This side is blank so that you can actually go through and do it yourself. So this is actually from www.creativeartwithme.com, and I just found it on Pinterest and printed it off because it's such a good way for you to dabble with the oil pastels and get used to it. So the first thing you're going to do in class is finish this worksheet. Once this worksheet is finished, you're going to come to the pile of visuals that I have. Now, it just so happens that I have visuals of koi fish this year. Next year, it might be flowers. Next year, it might be animals. It just so happens that I picked koi fish. And the reason why I picked koi fish is because this has a very painterly look to it. And with the oil pastels, for beginners, you want to try to copy or mimic something that already looks like paint. Eventually, you should be taking your own photographs and working from your own photographs so that there's no copyright issues. But if you're just learning, I find it much easier for your first 1 or 2 oil pastels. Find something that's already been painted, reproduce that, see how you like it, see what your techniques are, and then you can start to use your own photographs and your own ideas. But of course, you can jump right into it like if you want with your own photographs. This is just what we're going to do for practice for today. So you guys will go through and you'll find your favorite one, all right? Then I'm going to give you guys a board like this that has already been painted on the other side. But some kids don't take home their artwork. So I have all these extra boards, which they're perfect to put down the special watercolor paper, because that's what we're gonna use to draw on with our oil pastels. So I need to tape it down because I'm gonna be doing a lot of rubbing. All right, so I need to get it really secure. So the first thing I need to do is take a ruler and I need to mark 1 centimeter. Do you see how I'm on the 0, not at the end of the ruler? 1 centimeter every couple places so that I can get my piece of tape on there in the right spots. So I'm just gonna go around and do that. Now, if you just eyeball the tape, sure, but there's no guarantee that your tape is going to be even throughout. It'll probably be funny looking and crooked, and so when you rip the tape off, that's when it will be obvious. All right, so now that I have all of my edges marked, okay, you can't see all of it, but I have them all marked all around the edges. Okay, I'm gonna set it back down on here, and I'm going to tape it. So some people want to take the tape and go like this and hold on to the tape. No, measure it out. So I need it to be about this length. I'm going to cut off my piece of tape. That's the thing you need to do. Don't keep the tape attached to this, okay? And then I'm going to use my markings that I just made. And I'm going to push it down, okay? So I'm going to do that for all of my 4 edges. Do not keep it on the roll of tape. Take it off. Use your markings. I don't know if you guys can see all of this in the camera. My camera doesn't go high enough to show everything, but I will be fast here. Okay. So once this is all taped down, I need to start worrying about my proportions for the drawing part. So I'm going to just pick a visual here. I'm going to fold it in half and fold it in half. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. So it's going to be much easier for me to worry about just one box at a time when I draw it, instead of trying to proportion out the correct proportions for everything. So I'm going to do the same for this one. Now, this one is obviously vertical, so I would have to change my board to be vertical. Okay, so you can measure out the exact middle on here, or you can kind of just eyeball it. So I'm gonna just eyeball it and do the lightest line here. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball it and do a light line here, okay? Some of you have more of a square visual. Do you see how this one is square more instead of just long and rectangle? So you're just gonna have to extend your flowers and water and everything off a little bit, because you're only going to be in the middle of your paper, and you'll have extra paper, and that's okay. So you're going to take this right here, and here's my box just right here, okay? And then I'm going to take just this box that I just eyeballed, okay? And I know that his face, my koi fish's face, here, let me do this so that it's obvious what box I'm working in. So this is the box that I'm working in, okay? But this was my whole separation, okay? So I'm working with this box right here. So inside this box, I might, depending on how detailed, maybe I'm gonna find the middle between here and here, and then do this, middle between here and here. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more boxes. It depends on how detailed it is, okay? Maybe some of you don't need to separate it into 4 more boxes and you just want to keep it just one box. Some of you, it will help. But because I did this, I know that this koi fish's little nose is between here and here. It's right in the middle. So when I go on my box here, I'm going to gently draw this and gently draw this. I don't know. Can you guys see that I've even drawn these lines? All right, so I'm going to go to this corner box, find the middle between here and here, and I'm going to do the little nose of this koi fish. Okay, Then, if I really wanted to get picky, I could find between the middle and be like, middle and middle here. Oop, that's exactly where it ends. So I could go between here and here. Here's the middle. Between here and here, here's the middle. Oh, look, I almost got exactly where I was supposed to go. Okay, some of these things like a line like this, I wouldn't be too concerned. I'd very lightly maybe make a couple of these in here, but so I know where some things are. But you do not want to go in there with a pencil and write or draw down every single one of these, okay? You do want the actual image. So his cute little tail is there. So I'm gonna definitely want to put some just outlines of where his tail is going to be. I don't need to go in there and put every single line like that. I just need the basic outline edges and some of the things going on the inside, okay? All right, so once your whole drawing is drawn, then you can start to watch the second video.